What the heck happened to this bridge? Good morning, everyone. I'm Andrew. I'm here at the Oneonta Trailhead in the Columbia River Gorge National Scenic Area. It is early in the morning. The sun just came up, and it is about 33 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just above 0 degrees Celsius. We are about to do some winter camping. It's my first time camping in the winter. I am very experienced backpacking in the rest of the seasons, but this is going to be my first time doing it in the winter, so should learn a lot, but I do think it's going to be fun. Got my pack here. It's pretty heavy. I would say probably upwards towards 30 pounds, but I haven't weighed it. I don't ever really weigh my packs. So we are going to start out by going up this trailhead, up the hill, and see what happens. First thing we're going to check out is Horsetail Falls, which is 0.8 miles ahead. And we're going to be camping up on Larch Mountain, which is just over 4,000 feet. It was initially looking like it might rain today, at least a little bit. There was at one point 50% chance of rain, but luckily that is completely dissipated, so it should be dry. It's been dry now in this area for at least a week to 10 days, so that's nice. Out there is the Columbia River, which is the only sea level passage through the Cascade Mountains, which is where we are right now. This gorge formed when ancient volcanoes erupted millions of years ago, filling this area with basalt rock from the eruptions. And then after the last ice age, massive floods came through this area over a period of many years, carved out this glacier. These basalt cliffs go up to 4,000 feet high in places. I can hear some water dripping off to my right. There's some chunks of ice down here on the ground. That's Archer Mountain across the Columbia. That's Washington State on the other side. I'm currently in Oregon. Time to dip down into the Oneonta Gorge to cross the creek. Heading down towards the bridge down here. This Oneonta Gorge, you used to be able to hike into the gorge. I've never done it, but you could wade through the water into the gorge to see it. but it closed back in 2017 when we had a major fire in the area, and it's not reopened because it's deemed unsafe due to rocks and other things possibly falling down the gorge onto people. Here's the bridge. Cool waterfall here. It's basically a slot canyon, which is why it was popular. Here's a better view of the Columbia River. We have a train going by down below. I believe it's the Union Pacific Railroad. There's also another railroad run by another company on the Washington side of the river on the other side. We're coming around the corner to Horsetail Falls now. Pretty cool little waterfall. I don't want to be morbid, but I came across this grim reminder about how careful I need to be out here hiking on the trails, especially since there's a little bit of ice around. It's a memorial for Glenn Replogle, who sadly fell from a cliff east of Horsetail Falls back in 1988. We're going to be coming up on Multnomah Falls pretty soon, which is the largest tourist attraction in this area. We'll take a quick look at the falls and then we will head up the mountain. Danger of falling. All right, I'll be careful. I had to take off a layer because I was getting a little bit too warm when I was starting to climb the mountain. It's about 4,000 feet up to the summit of Larch Mountain, which we'll be camping somewhere along the way for a couple nights. The temperature tonight is supposed to get down to about 26 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about -3 degrees Celsius. And this is going to be a good time. I hope I'm not too cold, but we will give it a shot. There's at least a couple more major waterfalls along the trail that we're going to see, and then we will be following Multnomah Creek up the mountain. This is Weisendanger Falls and E. Cola Falls. There's been a lot of these patches of ice along the trail. We're about to cross a bridge over Multnomah Creek. This section's a bit sketchy. We're now 3 miles up the trail and we are entering the Mark O. Hatfield Wilderness area. We need to register for a wilderness permit. It says all users, day or overnight. It's vitally important to fill out these wilderness permits because it helps the Forest Service know how many people are using the trails, so that way they can make sure that they are, getting the right funding to be able to maintain them and improve them if a lot of people are using them. So let's fill out a permit. Oh, cancel that. No permits available. This is a brand new bridge. That's sweet. This is the first campsite. We're about 2,000 feet in elevation. I talked to a guy a little ways down the trail who indicated that he might be camping here, so I will leave it for him. What the heck happened to this bridge? Looks like this tree must have come down on top of it and knocked it down. I've entered a rocky section now. It wasn't too hard getting past that bridge, although I don't think most people would attempt to pass it, so I probably won't see any more people up the trail. I made it out of the burn zone and I'm leaving the wilderness area. It's a little after 3 p.m. and the sun is going to set in less than 2 hours, so I need to find camp here pretty soon. I'm at about 3,000 feet of elevation, and I know there's a campsite here coming up, so probably going to set up base camp there. I made it to camp. There's nobody around, so it's time to set up the tent now. And I'm wearing 4 layers of clothing now, so I'm actually feeling pretty good in my puffy, but it is going to be below freezing here pretty soon. And so I need to get the tent set up so I can stay warm. This tent hasn't looked so clean in years. It's a Big Agnes Tiger Wall UL2. I ended up buying a new one because my old tent body was pretty destroyed. It had been attacked by mice a couple years ago, and all of the holes had started to fray. I tried to patch them over with Leukotape, but it was a loss, and also one of the zippers on one of the 2 sides had stopped working due to the mice as well. So I'm using the new tent body, the rainfly, but the poles and most of the stakes are from the original tent, and my thinking there was if I ever break these poles, it would be nice to then have the new set as a backup. So I just wanted to keep using the poles that I have because they've been working great. Well, it's dark out here now. I've pretty much just been chilling in the tent because it's so cold, so I've been in my sleeping bag trying to stay warm. I'm in my tent now. One of my challenges tonight is that I currently only have a 30-degree sleeping bag, which is the Big Agnes Torchlight UL30. It may not be made anymore, but it's pretty much only comfortable down to about 37 degrees. On this little chart here, it says the lowest temperature an average woman will sleep comfortably, but I sleep pretty cold, so, I would say that rating is more applicable to me. But I also have a 10-degree liner, so that should put me down to about 27 degrees, and it's going to be about 26, so I think I should be fine. We'll see. I'm planning on staying 2 nights, but if for some reason that doesn't work out, then I will just leave tomorrow afternoon. Well, I think it's about time for me to go to bed. The plan is to get up early in the morning and try to get up to the summit before dawn. and that way I can see sunrise. So that'll mean getting up in the dark. So I will see you all in the morning. Good morning, everyone. I survived the night, luckily. I was definitely a little bit chilly, but I slept good overall. Didn't have any problems with that. So I do think I'm gonna stay out another night. I went up to Sherrard Point, which is the viewpoint on top of Larch Mountain, a little bit earlier for sunrise. And I saw some pretty cool views of Mount Hood, Mount Adams, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Rainier. The temperature is about 25 degrees Fahrenheit or -4 Celsius. The winds up on the viewpoint were just ripping with gusts of up to 35 miles per hour. So it was very hard to stay up there for too long. The current plan is to just do some exploring. I'm going to go down and explore a trail called the Franklin Ridge Trail, which the last time I was on it a couple years ago was unmaintained. So I want to take a look and see what the status is now. Hopefully they've cleared it, because I was basically just bushwhacking through the trail back then. And then I need to filter some water once the temperature gets above freezing. And then I'm probably going to just go back to camp and get in my sleeping bag and try to survive another night. So let's see how the day progresses. I've just been coming down the Oneonta Trail, exploring the uppermost section, which I've never been on before. It's mostly been just a green tunnel, but it's been a good experience, and I've dropped about 1,000 feet in elevation, so it's getting warmer. I'm not freezing anymore, which is awesome. And I just came across this pretty awesome fungus growing on this tree here. It's interesting what they've done over this down log. It looks like perhaps they put up these boards to go over with a mountain bike. I really haven't seen this before, so thought it was interesting. I've made it to the top of the Franklin Ridge Trail, so let's head on down and see if it's been maintained. Well, turning around for a different reason than last time. I was pretty much going through just like solid bushes last time, but now I've just been going over tree after tree after tree. There's just blowdowns everywhere. So I'm gonna just head down to Monoma Creek and filter some water, and then probably head back to camp. We hit a section here with some water on the trail. I hit one of the forks of Multnomah Creek. This looks a bit tricky because some of these rocks have sheets of ice on them. There's some ice on there. Should be able to get across. I took a little side trail after that creek crossing and I found a little campsite here. We have a fire pit and then very small tent pad, could probably fit up to a 2U tent, but interestingly somebody put this log here in the middle. Yep, it's not in the ground. So I don't know, maybe they don't want anyone to camp here. Well, I'm almost back to camp now. I stopped down at Multnomah Creek and filtered some water. I had debated whether I should get some aqua mira or bring my filter. This is the first time I've ever brung my filter during the winter, so I wasn't sure what to do. There's pros and cons of both. With a filter, you need to make sure it doesn't freeze. With aqua mira, you also need to make sure it doesn't freeze, but it shouldn't freeze at the same temperatures as water from my understanding. But to be able to filter out everything with aqua mira that a, say, Sawyer filter will filter out, it can take up to 4 hours. Plus, it may even take longer with the cold temperatures. So I ultimately decided to go with bringing my filter and just doing my best to keep it from freezing. So it's wrapped up in like an old washcloth, then it's wrapped up in clothing inside my pack. And when it's outside of my pack, I've been keeping it basically on my body, just to, like in a pocket, you know, just to make sure that it's, you know, that it doesn't freeze. And so far it's worked out well. I filtered a liter and then I got almost another liter of water that I can filter later if needed. And so far, I'm unsure if I am enjoying winter camping, but the fact that I didn't go home today, I think is a good sign. I am in good spirits now, and I'm excited to get back to my tent and get in my sleeping bag and, you know, maybe watch some YouTube, because miraculously I have cell phone reception at my camp. So maybe I'll watch some YouTube, or I also have some Netflix movies downloaded. But time to go the last little push uphill to camp. All right, I made it back to my tent, so now it's time to get warm. It's so nice to not have to set up the tent and be able to just get inside and get in my sleeping bag. Good morning, everyone. I survived the night. I was a little bit cold, but I wasn't shivering, so I think overall the trip has gone pretty well. I am feeling pretty energized this morning, having survived my first winter camping trip. It is about 8 a.m. right now, and everything is packed up. I am about ready to hit the trail. We're going to be taking a different route back. We are going to go all the way down the Oneonta Trail through the Oneonta Gorge, and at the end, we're going to see a pretty cool waterfall, which is Triple Falls. It's pretty iconic in the gorge here, so let's get on the trail and see what we find. The sun coming over the ridge now is so beautiful. It feels good to feel the sun on me. It went down last night to 28 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just below freezing. All right, we're heading down the Multnomah Spur Trail. On this trail, I see that someone has put in some marks on these roots, I guess to give them more traction. This is not the usual thing that you would see in the forest. I'm not sure what the ethics are around this. I would think it would be damaging to this tree here that's still alive. But personally, I'm against it. It's not necessary. Wow, it's kind of hard to see this sign from the trail. I've reached the intersection with the Oneonta Trail. Before I take off this layer, because I'm starting to get a little warm, I do want to point out that the only reason why I'm wearing this cotton clothing is because it's all I had and I needed extra clothes to be able to stay warm. But I don't normally bring any sort of cotton with me. As the saying goes, cotton kills. And the reason why is cotton, when it gets wet, provides no insulating value and also doesn't dry very well. Where the normal outdoor clothing, polyester, nylon, things like that, they dry quickly when they get wet, and they also do provide some insulation value. So I actually have already ordered a fleece from Mountain Hardwear and also a 15-degree sleeping bag. So next time I will be warmer. I believe it's the Phantom 15 from Mountain Hardwear. So now I am about to head on down the Oneonta Trail. This tree has a vertical hole in it. At some point in the past, there was a marker here of some sort for the wilderness, and they don't use markers like that on the side of trees anymore. So this one is long gone, but unfortunately it left a permanent scar on the tree. Looks like a windstorm blew through here recently. I got cold again pretty quickly, so I decided not to take my hoodie off yet. But I hit a roadblock here. I crawled under this branch twice yesterday, and I'm not doing that again. I bought this silky saw a couple weeks ago, and I've never used it, so don't make fun of me, but I am going to attempt to do some trail maintenance and cut this tree out of the way. Ah, nice. The side is already broken. Much nicer now. Soon coming up to what's most likely the highest point that I will hit today. Then it should be all downhill from here. Got some more down trees here. I can get through without crawling, so I'm gonna leave this one for the professionals. Ah, here's the trail. Got some patches of frost here. I can see, probably can't see in the video, but I can see the Columbia River down there for the first time. We're coming down to Oneonta Creek now. We're about to cross. We have about 3 miles left back to my car, and I'm guessing Triple Falls is probably about a mile away. Nice bridge here. We got some pretty waterfalls over here in Oneonta Creek. I'm feeling very energized today. I've been hiking a lot faster than normal. I'm probably excited to get back home and get some good food. Whoa, look at these cool icicles here in this waterfall. All right, let the record show that right after I filmed the creek and the icicles that I slipped on the wet rocks and fell down and my GoPro went into the water. It seems to be still recording, but the audio, I am not getting anything playing back, so switched over to my iPhone for now. All right, let's continue on down the trail. Here's a sweet bridge over Oneonta Creek again. Oh wow, pretty. Water flowing into the creek. Downstream it looks like it's turning into the steep gorge. Triple Falls should be coming up here pretty soon. Yep, Triple Falls was right past the bridge. We'll be getting a sweet view of it here in a second. Wow. These logs, trees, came down the canyon, landed here. I think the viewpoint is down. Let's check that out first. Triple Falls is gorgeous. Look at that ice here on the canyon wall. Makes for a tricky hike, especially downhill. Don't want to go down there. All right, I've hit the point in the loop that we were at on the first day when we headed down into and over Oneonta Gorge to go see Horsetail Falls. So I have 0.9 miles back to my car. Here's the mighty Columbia. Pretty. All right, well, I've almost made it back to my car, so we're gonna call it an ending here. To my friends and family, first of all, thank you so much for watching. You're probably the only ones who've made it this far, so genuinely thank you. I appreciate you coming along with me. And second of all, I hear your feedback loud and clear. I understand that sometimes I do come off a little bit too serious, which is something that I'm working on, and I know that I need to show a little bit more personality, so I hear you loud and clear. I am definitely working to improve. There's a lot that goes into figuring out how to film and put some sort of cohesive story together. So I vow to continue improving. And anyone else who has made it this far, genuinely, I appreciate it. To my friends on Mastodon, thank you as well. And I hope everyone, if you haven't gotten out to do something in nature recently, find a local park. You know, maybe even if it's just a short hike, go check out some nature and get some fresh air. Until next time, have a great day.